So, firstly, Marcos, thank you so very much for your time. Really appreciate you talking to me. And more importantly, thank you for all that you are doing, not just in Dubai, UAE, Middle East, but also for the global cryptocurrency community and the NFT and Web 3.0 space. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart because I do think what you in particular are doing is absolutely critical for the space. Now, before we kickstart the episode, just wanted to check, how has your day been so far?
Man, so far so good, man. Just enjoying the hot weather here in Dubai. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so just been uh, just been. I think for me, I do a lot of multiple things. I guess one is the Story Alchemist, then also one of a little bit of podcast, also maybe the coffee crypto, but all of it sort of centers around crypto, blockchain, and the Web3 space. So for me, just today I was just reflecting. A couple of years ago I was in the traditional financial space, and also with family business, but now I get to work in the crypto and blockchain space. And for me, I'm sort of realized I'm kind of like living the dream. You know what I mean? So definitely have a sense of immense gratitude.
Absolutely, and I remember why LinkedIn used to often post an appreciation post, which kind of put forward the gratitude towards the world, and I do think that is absolutely beautiful and fantastic. You used to post that,
Yeah,
so
yeah. I need to do that more often. It's yeah. I need to figure out my content calendar and stuff. So yeah, just need more time to reflect. I'm just like there's a lot of. I mean, our space. There's so many things happening. It's man, it's hard to take. It's hard to find breaks. But yeah, but I think for me, it's kind of really fulfilling to like learn what's happening tech wise, but also the entrepreneurs too. I mean, there's some really brilliant people. So I'm trying to I'm like this fat kid in a restaurant, just trying to like hog as much as I can. So, but yeah, I need to slow down, George. I need to slow down.
it's absolutely excellent. And there's this saying, let your work be your reward. So, I can definitely sense by the enthusiasm that you're doing these things. Absolutely
Mhm.
fantastic. Now, before we get into the details of Marcus, what you're doing, can you tell our listeners a bit about yourself, how you got involved in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space? Because I'm pretty much sure the listeners would definitely
Oh,
want to know when was the very first time
oh,
you heard about Bitcoin. Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah. Oh, first of all, no. First of all, thank you for asking that question. I think to me that's the most interesting. I think that's my favorite question because especially talking about Bitcoin, talking about crypto in general. How I learned about Bitcoin was through politics, U.S. politics. Just to give you some context for the audience, all right. I was born and brought up in Dubai. I'm Indian, and right after high school, I was trying to pursue track and field. I used to run track and field, 1,500 meters, 800 meters, even cross country. And, you know, somehow by God's grace, after high school, I got the opportunity for me and my best friend Dominic. He's also here in Dubai. We both pursue track and field in the U.S. In a Christian university called Wayland Baptist University. So somehow, that has got me out of one desert in Dubai to another desert in good old West Texas. And the town is called Plainview, Texas, and literally is Plainview. So so how that happened? Somehow I met some friends who were libertarians, anarcho-capitalists, anarchists. Some guys who were working in the military. Somehow learning about politics, libertarianism, the philosophy about free economics, free markets, Austrian economics. And and I think for me, I was kind of curious, like a typical Indian kid, the reason I went to the United States is to make money. I want to have success and all that stuff. But somehow I got into this rabbit hole of how is money created? What is the Federal Reserve? And next thing you know, I'm this raging libertarian carrying the end of the Federal Reserve, like trying to preach this this freedom gospel or whatever. And I learned about Bitcoin, and I do like it. And I didn't understand cryptography or what's the technical stuff. but I was that time I was still for years I was still battling between Bitcoin and gold and silver. I think I was more towards gold and silver because as a
Yeah,
proper Indian boy, hey, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. But just to cut the story short, I've been in the United States for 10 years, and unfortunately, I had to come back to Dubai. And basically, just like any American dream, my American dream crashed, and I crash landed back to Dubai with barely little money. I thought I could work in the family business, but also the family business had its own issues and stuff. So I had to start my life all over again in Dubai. So, going through trials, going through some failures and stuff, I started to see the world differently, and I guess you can say I kind of went, all in on Bitcoin around 2016, 2017. I learned about Bitcoin like, like say 2010 or something, but
yeah.
I was a slow learner. Maybe I might be a dumbass, but hey, at least I'm glad what, took that chance and, decided to, what, I will figure out a way to get out of my negative situation and enter the wild space of crypto, blockchain, and now we're talking about Web3. So that is kind of like my wild story how I learned about Bitcoin. So to answer your question, those are actually politics of all things.
That
So
that is absolutely great. I didn't know that you have an experience in track and field. Because last week I was with one of my good friends and we were just discussing about track and field. And I do feel, somewhere down the line, there is this commonality between sports and track and field and Bitcoin, which I do have another podcast, and we'll definitely discuss more
gotcha.
on that. And I
Definitely,
like the
yeah,
fact,
yeah.
yeah, and a very crucial point that you mentioned is about politics, because the whole question about, is Bitcoin apolitical? And we have two different
Mm.
parties, especially in US, the same concept as in UK.
Oh
As a matter of
yeah.
fact, even in India, one
Oh,
side of
totally. I think
politics.
there's so many places, right?
Absolutely. And it's going to be really interesting to see where Bitcoin fits into all of this. Another beautiful point that you mentioned, which our listeners should definitely do a lot more research on, is how is money created? And surprisingly, very,
Mm.
very few people do actually know the answer to how money is created. So,
Oh
absolutely
man,
brilliant point.
yeah. I
Now, am
I
I
I think
right in?
the
Yeah,
oh sorry no just
go on.
sorry I was just gonna share I think for me learning about how money created, especially as a freshman sophomore, really made a big impression for me. Now when I reflect, it really changed my viewpoints because I had a different upbringing, I had a different viewpoint, and it challenged a lot of narratives. And it was not easy for a young person like me to go through all that. I mean, it was I did struggle quite a bit. So I'm sure. I guess maybe the younger generations are able to realize, oh, wait a minute, yeah, money's not it's just monopoly money in some sense, but before you were taught these different narratives. So yeah, so it did play an important role in my life, honestly.
Absolutely. And few days ago, the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, he had an interview, and one of the Senate members did actually ask him, "How do you print money?" And what he actually said, Marcos, was that on the computer we just click few buttons, and that's how it is created. And that was a bit shocking, but not surprising. But absolutely
At least he's
brilliant point. Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
He's honest
absolutely. Yeah, at
about it.
least he's on. Correct. Yeah,
Has
and
Alan Greenspan, has George Bush, Obama, or even other world leaders, have they ever said that?
correct. Yeah,
Okay, we all can be honest, especially in the Bitcoin space, whether you're a Maxi or a BSV or Monero or
yeah.
whatever, like we all know how money is created, so at least okay, I can appreciate that Jerome Powell or in Reddit, J Powell,
Yeah.
it's all by keystrokes.
100% agree. Now, you just mentioned about Bitcoin SV, which is Satoshi Vision. Am I right in saying, Marcos, that you're actively involved in Bitcoin Satoshi Vision? And you, at the same time, you're also a massive advocate of Monero, which I personally like as well, which hopefully we'll get into that later on. So are you still actively involved with Bitcoin Satoshi Vision?
I guess in the BSV ecosystem, I'm not that involved in it. I'm honestly, I'm sort of in between Bitcoin Cash, BSV, but I also do have some friends in eCash as well too. Um, uh, Quite a strange position to be in, but I do have an appreciation for BSV, just because, in simple terms, I guess I'm a big blocker,
Hmm.
and I I do believe that, you could, because I'm all about, big data, scalability, and, it's not just about the money, or just the money side, but hey, you could actually build businesses on the Bitcoin protocol, or I would say, or in this case, BSV. But in terms of me being active in the ecosystem, not so much. But I am exploring the idea of BSV with some other people, uh, especially in the areas of intellectual property, but also, or the creator economy. But the most important one, what I like about BSV, what really attracted me was micropayments or nano payments. So that is something that has caught my attention. So yeah, that's. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah,
Uh,
and on similar lines, Marcus, let's say a lot of the Bitcoin maximalists or the so-called OGs of Bitcoin, they have a negative connotation or a thought process between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. At the same time, I'm
yeah.
sure some of the listeners, they don't know much about Bitcoin Satoshi Vision as such. So what is the message
Yeah.
that you have for them?
Oh, okay. No, that's a great question. I guess. I mean, if you don't know much about, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, hey, good for you. The reason I say that is you don't, like me and many other people, you don't carry that baggage, especially the hash walls and stuff. And there's this enmity between, the Bitcoin Core people and the Bitcoin Cash, and then within Bitcoin Cash, you got this enmity between Bitcoin Cash and BSV, and then you got the eCash. So, first of all, congratulations. I mean, I think you guys have a fresh start, so which is great. I, I think for me, when it comes to Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, if you are trying to build, you know, solutions or enterprise solutions that can scale, and uh, that also create avenues for micro payments or even nano payments, like, to be able to send, a couple of cents to, millions of people or different groups and stuff. I think, you should look into BSV, especially trying to create enterprise solutions.
Yeah.
I think that is where I think BSV can really excel. I guess in terms of, BTC or Bitcoin Core, I think in terms of the cultural narrative, I think to me, I just see it as a glorified savings account. But nonetheless, it has the brand name and also the network effect and the marketing. So in that way, it does, serves a purpose, or I would say the title of a reserve currency. So yeah, I think that would be kind of my message in terms of, uh, the Bitcoin Core. But I mean, there are some, uh, maybe my concerns in terms of the scalability side, even with the Lightning Network and stuff. I know that's a whole episode by itself, but, I guess if people are concerned about, are interested about BSV, I think, yeah, they should explore the the technical opportunities you can use, BSV for enterprise solutions. So I think that's where I see it excel. I mean, there are some interesting startups who are, um, you know building on the BSV blockchain. So I've seen a lot of entrepreneurship for many years. So I think that's why I'm more positive towards BSV as compared to, like, say, Bitcoin Cash, where I used to the camp I used to be with, or even Bitcoin Core. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I know I know that's a long message, but hopefully that makes sense.
No, no, I think the message is absolutely beautiful. In fact, I can think of one company called Smart Ledger, and they recently have a kind of partnership with the Dubai airport, and they're currently working on Bitcoin Satoshi vision as well. And I did interview with the
Oh,
managing
right.
director here, so she
Yeah.
mentioned the
Okay.
same
Smart
thing.
Ledger. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
They're
they're
good.
also
Yeah.
focusing on micropayments. So I think our listeners, should definitely check that thing out. And I believe she wanted to be as one of the speakers in one of the Crypto with Coffee session as well, which we'll be talking about in just a few minutes. But
Okay.
before
All
that,
right. Okay.
yeah, before that, Marcus, the big question on your LinkedIn profile, it says that you help tech founders tell simple stories, and you're the
Hmm.
co-founder of the Story Alchemist, a community builder, which I 100% agree to. And you're also one of the key members who started Coffee with Crypto. Now, you have a podcast called Cryptocosm. You're an interviewer and a brilliant speaker, particularly, let's say, the Web3 blockchain, and you're also a crypto evangelist. Now, take us back to in time and tell our listeners, how did your journey start in the podcasting space? Because you did tell us when you moved to Dubai, and you did tell about your experience. Now tell us about your podcasting space. And what our listeners should do is look at his intro.
Yeah.
I think you have, if not one of the best introductions. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, how I got into podcasting. It, it it started. It started like the first week of March 2020.
Hmm.
That time I was working with American Express, and I was trying to find, you know, I was basically working as a, as a product consultant, where basically I just meet high net worth individuals, selling American Express products. So basically, just trying to convince high net worth people to spend their money with American Express. But I wanted to like desperately change careers. I wanted to like find a way to get in the crypto space, because I was, even for a long time I've been talking about crypto and stuff, but just talking about crypto is not enough. I think you also got to take some action. And how I started was actually I had a shop. I started with a phone, and I decided, what, instead of trying to take the slow approach of, hey, getting a laptop, or getting
Yeah.
lights, cameras, softwares. Basically I was making a lot of excuses. Uh, I decided, what, let me download what's that, Anchor app, which is
Yeah.
later got bought by Spotify. And I just started talking about it, just talking about, actually I started talking about financial education. But then some people started to ask me, hey, can you teach me how to buy my first crypto, buy my first Bitcoin? That is how I slowly started, and, started, getting into podcasting just using a phone. So, which was a good exercise for me, because it taught me to, take action. And also I also learned that, you know what, your first episode is gonna suck. Your first interview is gonna suck. A lot of things are gonna suck, uh, but which is a good thing, because not many people heard like my initial episodes. You know, I had all my ums and ahs, and
Yeah.
I was trying to be articulate, but I just sounded so horrible. So, which is good. I think it was a good way to start, and from then on, I started to start to learn how to connect with other people on LinkedIn, and made, it's all trials and errors, but eventually that helped me get, work with Bitcoin.com exchange, be a podcast lead for xe.com, and also start to connect with other, I guess, other I would say big players in the space, in my point of view, who uh, are really solid people who have incredible knowledge in the space, technology wise, but also in terms of going through the bulls and bears of our
Yeah.
industry. So yeah. So look, I think podcasting in one ways has really changed my life dramatically.
Absolutely. And you
So
used to
yeah.
arrange a weekly meetup with Crypto XT Exchange as well, right?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, when I was at XT, we used to have some. We try to have like at least bi-weekly meetups, I would say. So whenever you get the chance.
And your podcast is called as Cryptocosm.
Yes, yeah. The name of the Cryptocosm was actually an inspiration from the gentleman by name of George Gilder. So I believe he wrote a lot of books about actually about Google, but he also talked about how uh, the blockchain is going to change the way we use our internet information and money. So, but which is also quite interesting. What is interesting about George Guild is that he's also a big supporter of BSV, which it is quite
Oh,
surprising. And he also, but also it's interesting that he also believed that Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm sort of in the middle. I don't know,
yeah,
but I thought that was really interesting to learn because like George Gilder, in terms of his history, his expertise. I mean, he's one of the best in the world actually. So he's a really old guy, uh, the immense the amount of knowledge he has about security and uh, he had prophesying about how this technology is going to change and stuff. It's quite interesting, really. So I would encourage some of the readers to actually look into George Gilder. I mean, he has his I can't remember his books, but I think something quick Cryptocosm and
mhm.
Life After Google. That's also another book of his. So yeah. I mean, he's quite a heavyweight intellectual.
Absolutely. What I'll do is, the show notes below, I'll definitely go ahead and mention, some of the relevant books that you mentioned. So,
Yeah.
listeners, as well as of myself, I'm definitely going to have a look at that. And what I really liked is, I believe last week or a week before that, you're also part of Crypto TV. And what a listener should do is, you should definitely check it out because the production quality of your interview is just absolutely world class. So, how did that deal come about? Because that is an icing on the cake, to be honest, for any podcaster to be on.
Yeah, yeah. I know this one is it's still in the works. So hopefully we will there will be a solid plan, I guess, with Crypto TV. But I guess the goal with Crypto TV is to basically build a network, a TV network for the global crypto Web3 industry. So hopefully, definitely I hope to be part of it, but also I guess for me, I'm more excited about uh, creating content and maybe help out with some of their shows in terms of maybe think of Shark Tank meets crypto and blockchain. So yeah, we're just working out. I mean, we're working out the concepts, but if things work out, I think we might see some really exciting content from Crypto TV. So in the meantime, through them, I get to interview some amazing people in the space,
Absolutely.
and we're also trying to but also on the other side too, we also work the team who I'm trying to talk to. We're trying to see how we could also maybe support some upcoming content creators in the space too. So I think it'll be great to help drive more talent in the space, which we really need to in many ways drive adoption of these amazing ideas that we're working on.
Absolutely. And I think two things areas where you have a competitive advantage over other content creators is your introduction. And you've got a bit of swag, which is absolutely brilliant. And Marcus, you're also an integral part
Yeah,
of Crypto with Coffee, a meetup event that takes
yeah.
place every Saturday. So can you tell our listeners how did the journey start and how did the idea come about?
No, that's a great question. We just completed more than a year. It started like maybe around April, but I think even before that, I remember like me, Dr. Anis from Panda Protocol, and also maybe Anton too. We would have our weekly coffee meetups at the Counterculture Cafe in Dubai Marina. We just have like regular conversations and stuff. I think I think for me it was good to like connect with some people like on the weekend, just kick back, relax, you know, and have like interesting conversations about the tech. And I think also, what is happening in the space as well. So, but also eventually, we had a lot of startups from India, from the UK, some in the United States. Many of them actually come to Dubai. So they happen to, you know, hear to the grapevine to some other people that, hey, me, Anish, Anton, Sam Lai,
Yeah,
also Ramsey too. We meet up at Marina and we just have these conversations. And eventually, a lot of these guys, they wanted to, get some feedback about, hey, this is the project we're working on. Can we just present to you our project and please give us some feedback? So it kind of started from there, from like 5 people. And we ended up, I think right now we are over maybe like 500 people in the Telegram group. So I think things have scaled up quite a bit thanks to Sam Lai when he graciously opened his office. At that time, he had his office in the Marina Plaza. So on Saturdays we would come over to his office and use his space for people to present their projects and have networking conversations and stuff. So yeah, so that is how Coffee with Crypto grew. Just 5 random guys getting
yeah.
together, and here we are. Getting a lot of support from other people. You know, partnering and supporting our efforts to bring blockchain adoption to Dubai, especially, and the MENA region in its totality.
And one thing which I honestly like about Coffee with Crypto is it's all about quality. Because in my regular podcasting session, I often have Ask Me Anything sessions where, some of the listeners, they pose a question. And some of them have often asked me, what is the event that you'd like to attend? And my initial response is Crypto with Coffee every Saturdays. The content of information that is being shared, because few weeks ago,
Mhm.
you also had someone from MetaMask, which I think was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And even the guys who organize it. So for our listeners, do follow Crypto with Coffee on LinkedIn, or LinkedIn as well, right? You guys are on LinkedIn and
Yeah,
Facebook.
we have it on LinkedIn and Telegram.
Yeah,
Eventually, we will try to get into Twitter, but at the moment, we're just Telegram and LinkedIn. It's our way of, how do you say, funneling people.
yeah,
Because like, it's interesting you mentioned about the quality of content, because this is something I think Dr. Anish, and also many of us, even also Ramsey too. They want to make the meetup as technical as possible. Uh, the main reason is, if you guys are here in Dubai, I'm sure you know by now. Every week in Dubai, there's like 50 to 60 meetups.
yeah,
Here in Dubai. So, and a lot of it tends to be more like a speed dating, business
yeah,
networking stuff, which is good. I have no problem with it. Not putting it down, but I think for us, if you're going to do a meetup, it has to be something different. It has to um, add value in a way that makes sense. So, and we are also starting to see a lot of technical founders,
yeah,
developers, you know, who are coming to Dubai because they want to come to a place where they are really treated best compared to many regions around the world. So here we wanted to have quality discussions where people can ask some interesting questions, but also those who are serious about learning about the space, they won't have a problem coming to the place and learn. Like, even for me, like, I'm not a super technical guy, but eventually, once you you know uh join the group and be part of the environment, it kind of shapes you. You start to like learn things, you start to understand concepts
yeah.
better. And also, but also, if you're a new person too, you could also add value and ask questions too. So that way, that kind of keeps us on our toes, how to relate to the
Yeah.
regular people, the regular customers, or even VCs too, how to speak in their language. So
Yeah.
that way we have, which our industry needs, better communication, from my point of view.
And one thing which I 100% agree is, based on the Telegram conversation, on even while I'm attending these events, you're not focused on, protocols trying to shill their products or going to the moon. It is more about technical information. So if our listeners, if
Mhm.
you're someone who wants to learn about a particular project or protocol, I think this is, if not one of the best events in Dubai. Now, on these
Yeah.
events that you've conducted, are there any particular meetup event that stood out for you? Any famous celebrity or guest that attended that event? Any one event that stood out for you?
Oh, that's a great question. Because I know a lot. It's funny, like, a lot of people enjoyed Dr. Anish's his I guess his presentation on zero knowledge proof. A lot of people are kind of curious about, like bulletproofs from Monero,
Yeah,
ZK Snox, stocks, all that stuff. So even though some of the information was a little bit complicated, but I think, but a lot of people started to have an understanding and appreciation how zero knowledge proof uh, can play a very important role in the long run. Because at the moment you'll hear a lot of, like, social fi, metaverse, AI, but even some high level folks who I met earlier, they are actually quite curious about zero knowledge proof and some of the privacy stuff, which is quite interesting because uh, I think what they like about zero knowledge proof is, in very simple English, not to go too complicated, is that you can have privacy and transparency. Actually, you can
yeah,
have your cake and eat it, um, which is quite counterintuitive, but it is possible. So I think majority of the market has not figured that out yet. There's a lot of distractions. I guess in one way it's kind of good for me, but at the same time too, like, I don't know, like, if you're trying to get in early, but um, I think the presentation of Dr. Anish was pretty cool.
yeah.
Another one was one of Anish's friend from Singapore. I think his name is Daniel. I can't pronounce his last name. Some Libu.
Okay,
I could be wrong, so I apologize. But he is part of a fund called Modular Fund. So he was talking about the long-term history of, these different blockchains. I guess in terms of uh, scalability and the sustainability, and so he was pretty interesting. Another one was this guy from Ergo, which is kind of a proof of work, I guess, kind of like a privacy-based blockchain. But I think his premise was that, the Bitcoin white paper. I could be wrong, but like Satoshi might have made some mistakes, like in terms of assumptions and stuff, which is
yeah.
good. I think it's good to have these
Dialogues, yeah.
dialogues and, opposite, not opposite, alternative thinking, which is great. I think it's great for us to challenge our narratives, how we think. So, because I know I have uh, my strong beliefs in Monero, for example, but I have some other friends who are big supporters of Zcash or maybe Zano or Dero. So, um, which is great. So I think that helps sharpens us, I guess. So
Absolutely, and I think every Bitcoin maximalist, even they would agree that Monero is something what Bitcoin probably intended it to be. So, I'm a massive
yeah,
fan of Monero
yeah,
as
that's
well.
true. Yeah, I think that part. Yeah, some of the Bitcoin maxis who have, like, I mean, I heard through the Twitter spaces and stuff. Many of them do recognize Monero, which is which is quite interesting. I think but I still get I guess flabbergasted because, it's all about small blocks, but, if Monero is dynamic block size.
Yeah,
So I thought that was interesting. Like, wait, what? But okay, let's see how it goes. I think it takes time, to see how the cultural narrative change. But it's interesting to hear them say like the way they react to Monero is they take it seriously.
can you tell our
So
listeners
I'm
how
like,
did
okay,
you get into Monero? How did you find out about Monero? Because I definitely do think that is one of the OGs of all cryptocurrencies, even in comparison to, let's say, Bitcoin.
oh yeah, actually, how I learned about Monero was through this anarcho-capitalist financial newsletter called The Dollar Vigilante by Jeff Berwick. So, and him and this other guy, Rafael Laverde, they started the Crypto Vigilante. So that is how I kind of learned about anarchism and free markets, but also learning about Bitcoin and privacy coins and stuff. So that's why I started pay attention to you know what is Monero. And I remember 2016, even before that too. Like Monero used to be in the top 10, but I remember it started to go down, and there was this recruitment video from the IRS or something. Like they came to one of the schools like in Wisconsin, or I don't know how I saw it, but uh, someone asked about Monero, and I think this particular lady from the IRS or maybe the Treasury was like, they're kind of glad that Monero's rankings are going down and stuff. So it kind of you know, it tickled me. I'm like, oh, okay, let me have a look at it. And I started to learn about you know about Monero, and learned about I guess Zcash because it's true Roger Ver and Eric Voorhees and all these other guys. And then like Uzuko and all that. But I guess that is how I kind of learned about Monero. But um, I guess I know a lot of people ask me like why do you why do you care so much about Monero, or like what makes you so really excited about it? Because I guess in many ways, like some of the Bitcoin maximalists, there's I think there was a quote by this guy, Dr. Kim, because I mean he has done some research papers and stuff. Like Monero is the uh, is the coin that the noobs, these Bitcoin noobs should have bought or something like that. But I started to do a little bit of research about Monero and the tech stuff. But I think what is interesting about Monero, there's this connection with Monero, Bitcoin, and the internet. Uh, because when I ask people, to me, like there's there's one thing that connects Monero, Bitcoin, and the internet. And a lot of people would give me blank stares. So the answer I would give is actually the dark net, the black markets. So if you look at the history of the internet, um, I mean the internet itself has thrived in the black market or the dark net. Whether you're talking about like gambling, pornography, and all that stuff, the same history, or the same thing rhymes with also with Bitcoin's rise too in the darknet and stuff. I guess before the hash walls or before the chain analysis or analytics and stuff. But also same thing with Bitcoin Cash, but also Monero too. So um, you know it's like I don't know. Maybe my pipe dream is that I think there's a possible. I know it's a crazy possibility that Monero can um, how do you say overthrow BTC. I know not many Bitcoin maxers like to hear that, but that's kind of my belief because I'm seeing the history of the internet, how it grew. I've seen the history of Bitcoin, how it grew in the darknet, but also now the most used currency crypto is Monero, and Monero is not just used by the darknet people, even regular people use it, but also intelligence agencies too. They also use it too. So I don't know. So that's what kind of makes me excited about Monero. So if someone asks me like why do I care about it, this is my kind of like my reasoning, and I hope my reason is not that crazy. But if it is crazy, okay, I have nothing to lose really. So it's easy to convert Monero to Bitcoin, any other currency. So
I,
not a
I
big issue.
I 100% agree to it. And a fun fact, which I'm not sure, Marcus, even you would remember, we got connected because you posted on LinkedIn that one Bitcoin is not equal to one Bitcoin, and he gave you explanation. And I saw that post, and that's how I started. I sent you a friend request via LinkedIn, and that's how we got connected. Because what you mentioned, that thing about Monero, is absolutely spot on. And what a lot of
Yeah.
the Bitcoin maximalists initially they did not agree that so far as fungibility is concerned, one Bitcoin
Mm,
is equal to one Bitcoin. And if you're a listener who
yeah.
thinks that, you might be slightly mistaken. And even Adam Back, the CEO of Blockstream, he has also said that Bitcoin's fungibility is not what you think, because
Yeah.
newly mined Bitcoin is sold at a higher price. And so far as
Yeah.
Monero is
Yes.
concerned,
Yeah.
it is, if not one of the best aspects of our fungibility is concerned. And we can also look at Tim Draper. He bought Bitcoins
Mm.
at a ridiculously low price. So one Bitcoin
Yeah.
is definitely not equivalent to one Bitcoin. So, and can you tell our listeners, Marcos, you recently had an event about Monero as well. How did that turn out to be? And what was
Oh,
your
right.
review regarding that? Yeah.
No, I guess no. We had. I was quite surprised. We had a big turnout. It was just like last year. I I remember, like, I was like, listening in one of the Monero Twitter Spaces and stuff. So that there was uh, this lady, Namrata. So I guess she was in India or maybe in Spain. She's moving to Dubai or something. So that is, I got in touch with her and told her about, Coffin Crypto. Hey, we could um, maybe have you talk about Monero or something. Or, I mean, she's not. I mean, she's not into the technical stuff. But I thought, hey, you know what? Let's you can talk about, I don't know, the the financial stuff or the economic side. It doesn't matter. I think the goal was that, we'll try to have some sort of consistent Monero meetups, and, have the founder of Cake Wallet. He can come later, and he can, and, Dr. Anish, he also knows some of the developers in the Monero community. So, we could, have people, talk about zero knowledge, like Monero uses
Yeah.
bulletproofs, why they only focus on bulletproofs, or why, or say, like, I know some people in Pirate Chain, they are, I mean, in terms of zero knowledge proof, they're quite advanced, but they're using more experimental zero knowledge stuff. So, hey, we can have all these discussions and stuff. So, but it only happened, like, if I remember last year, we were supposed to have, like, like another meetup and stuff, but so far there hasn't been any update from Namrata or anybody else. But hey, Coffee and Crypto goes on. We'll still, I mean, we do talk about zero knowledge proof anyway. So
Yeah.
um, so
And
yeah,
I
but
do.
hopefully other things will change. Yeah,
And I do remember, a few years ago, one of the lead maintainer of Monero used to be Ricardo Spani. I used to absolutely love him talk, because, the reasoning that he gave, and something which you did mention about privacy as well. I used to always talk
yeah,
about privacy, and, how Monero does actually help in certain, dictatorship countries as well, which you mentioned a few minutes ago. So 100%
yeah,
agree on that, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Ricardo Spag. I don't know how to say
Fluffy
his
Pony, rather,
Spag.
on Twitter.
Fluffy, I call it, yeah, Fluffy Pony. Yeah, that's his name. So we'll stick
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, but he was right. Like, he did talk about, the privacy tech and stuff, and, you know, uh, like, they have to keep developing privacy. It's a, like, it's sort of like a nonstop game. So, and, I guess for now, like, Monero is also the number one in the privacy space, um, and they're using bulletproofs, but there are also other privacy coins out there, like, Pirate Chain
Yeah.
or Darrow, which is like, think of, like, Ethereum and Monero meet together. Like,
Yeah.
it's more like a smart contracts using privacy. So, which is quite absent in Ethereum, which is a public, is based smart contracts. It's public, so you're just opening yourself to financial voyeurism. So that creates a lot of issues for enterprise capital getting into the DeFi space. Um, so yeah, so I mean, these are things, like, not many people talk about, but yeah, but privacy does matter, and I guess with regards to, Monero, they're more focused on, just the currency,
Yeah.
to make the currency as, to be fungible, and to, not to make the mistakes of what Bitcoin, the core have done. So yeah, that's what, and I am excited about Monero, but I'm also excited about other privacy coins too. I think there's a lot of interesting developments taking place in terms of privacy and smart contracts, or in the DeFi space, but also even also say in our real world, like, say for example in Dubai. I mean, it is kind of unfortunate that I guess they put a ban on Monero and Zcash. I mean, I have my arguments about Zcash, but I think I feel that even some of the folks in Europe too, like some of the funds, like they understand financial privacy, which is needed because Visa, Mastercard, Amex, they all financial privacy. It is sort of a legal right. Like you need financial privacy. It's also by law too. So same thing. Monero has open key mechanism. Are these other protocols have selective disclosures? Even also like Bitcoin Cash, or any other public, any even other public blockchains, they can just add a financial privacy layer. So they all can potentially be a privacy, privacy coin in some sense. Um, so I think I think there has to be more communication with the regulators. Maybe also consultants too, because I know they give a lot. I feel they give a lot of bad advice. I'm like, man, look, we need to have a conversation about privacy, but hey, let's talk about compliance too, and how to, um, not only provide privacy and compliance for regular people, but also governments, also businesses too, institutions. They need both of them actually. So we need to have more conversations on that. So I hope that this stance against privacy like Monero and
Yeah.
Zcash could change, because I think that I think if the uh, once they realize, hey, how important is it? Wait a minute, like it's not as bad as you think. So I think it's operated out of fear, not by proper study.
And
So I hope that changes.
are there any resources, Marcus, you would like to recommend to listeners to get started, let's say, with Monero and identifying what privacy is? Because I'm pretty much sure a lot of them are not even sure of what their own privacy is. We tend to do a couple of things without even realizing it.
Okay. Oh, all right. I guess I guess the best way to start is you can whether you're going to Coin Market Cap or CoinGecko, go on Monero, search for the Monero ticker. There's a Monero website. Um, if you're specifically curious about, is Monero a legally compliant cryptocurrency? There is a law firm by the name of Perkins Co. They're one of the
Okay,
largest. They're one of the largest law firms in the world. Very highly respected. They actually did, like, the Monero community have got the Perkins Co. law firm do a legal opinion on Monero, and Perkins Co. stated that it's actually the most legally compliant crypto of all, because it has
interesting.
privacy, but also because it has open key mechanism, it can also meet the compliance and the regulations of the countries. So, um, so this is it's quite a lengthy document, but it is a good document for all of us to look into, and it'll give us a better understanding about, hey, how you can conduct business on the blockchain while protecting your privacy, and how you can meet compliance, because compliance also is a quite an expensive endeavor,
Yeah,
especially for these banks and stuff. Like, because I remember the work of American Express. Golly, the amount of paperwork you got to do, and asking for documents. Who knows? I mean, I jokingly say we also ask for blood sample too, but it's almost like that. You know what I mean? Like, golly, I mean, how much of documentation? Golly, but just for compliance. So you can imagine how expensive it is. So, I mean, um, there are better ways to do this. That's what I'm trying to say. So,
excellent. So what I'll do is, in the show notes below, I'll definitely go ahead and mention, some of the website and some of the law firms that you
okay, wow,
mentioned. So yeah,
excellent.
and what
Yeah.
our listeners should do is, on YouTube, there is a series of episodes called Breaking Monero. So essentially, it is
Mm.
an extremely, extremely technical series where they actually break down Monero in terms of the white paper, in terms of ring signature, what is the difference between privacy and anonymity. I think our listeners should definitely check it out. Now, one question what I wanted to ask is about crypto with coffee. Before we move on to your protocol, that is, or your baby project called a Story Alchemist, is what
Yeah.
advice would you like to give to presenters in the space? And even for audiences, is there any word of advice that you'd like to give it to them?
Oh, with regards to coffee or crypto?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I guess my advice is for for startups who want to we're open to people presenting, no, without asking like funding and stuff. But I think to you know, take the opportunity to, get people to ask questions, try to get some sort of feedback, and um, maybe take some constructive criticism and stuff. So I guess I guess I think that's what I would, I guess, say for any startups who want to come to coffee and crypto. You know, I mean, not to just simply just present their project, but hey, this is a great chance, like talk to some people. Many of them are founders themselves. Many of them are, you know, they know their technical knowledge really well. And we might also have some VCs too, or some other marketing people who could, uh, help some of the founders how to distill their message well. So, so this is, yeah, so that's something. I think just to think few steps ahead. I guess that's my advice for
That,
some of them.
that is a brilliant advice. Now, the next big question, Marcos. The Story Alchemist. Can
Hmm.
you tell our
Yeah.
listeners what was the motivation to start the Story Alchemist? What is it and who is the co founder? And what is it that you're offering?
Oh, sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. So basically, the Story Alchemist, we help, brilliant founders, tech savvy founders, help distill their brilliant ideas into a simple message through human-centric storytelling. So with the goal of helping founders, get cash, clients, and capital.
Yeah,
The story behind the story behind the Story Alchemist is actually, it goes to coffee crypto. Uh, uh, Let me just take a few steps back. The Story Alchemist started by me and also my wife, Lisa. So I'm the speaking alchemist. As you can tell, I talk a lot. I'm the podcasting guy. But actually, the real superpower is my wife, Lisa. So she's a writing alchemist. She has incredible experience in terms of content creation, messaging, like language, rhetoric, personal branding. So, she has worked with some entrepreneurs in different spaces. She also worked in some creative agencies and stuff. So, she has attended some of the coffee and crypto meetups
yeah,
last year. Yeah, and I remember she would tell me, like, many times she would, like, she'll do her own thing. She's, like, she's into, like, ancient history and all that stuff. But once in a while, she will listen to some of the startup founders, and she will, like, tell me, like, what, I'm pretty sure some of these startup founders, really brilliant people, like technically sound, but I don't understand a single word what they just said.
yeah,
And she was telling me that, I am pretty sure that whatever product they're selling, or that, they have, can really impact my life. I'm pretty sure, but I don't think they know how to distill their brilliant ideas in a simple message. So that's what, like, me and Lisa, we decided, like, beginning of this year, like, hey, you know what? Let's join forces. Let's help these really brilliant guys. Uh, uh you know, these guys are, have multiple skills. They're multiple dimensional human beings, but they have a hard time, you know, uh, communicating their value to the marketplace, communicating their value to the investors. Why should we care about your project? Why should we care about the solution that you're trying to solve? Let's take for example, uh, there is a financial privacy project. They're trying to solve the problem in the DeFi space. The main question is, what me and especially Lisa would ask is, why should we care? Why should
yeah,
we care about financial privacy? Who
correct.
cares? Same thing too. You can say we have some friends who are in the DID space, or decentralized identity.
Yeah,
Why should we care about the owning your own data, or owning your own identity? Who cares? Why? Like, tell me why. What's the emotional reason? So this is where I think, what what we are trying to do is, we are trying. I guess for me, I'm trying to humanize blockchain. I'm trying to
yeah,
make blockchain Web3 crypto to be human readable, to connect with other human beings. So that people can understand. Oh, wait a minute, this technology can actually solve a lot of the problems I'm dealing with, whether in my business or whether managing community or preserving my wealth. You know, So even same thing with metaverse too. I mean, like, okay, why should I care about the metaverse? So this is something that we're trying to help some of these startups how to tell, how to control the narrative, how to set, uh, send a narrative to the marketplace that can attract clients, attract capital, and also even cash too. Because hey,
Yep.
being a startup is not easy. So cash flow is king. So
And I think you're answering such a simple but yet a powerful question. Why should I care? And this is something, the technical experts, they
mhm.
tend to overlook. And what I really like is, your wife, Elisa, she often posts videos on LinkedIn, which is really short and sweet, concise. And I really like the style in which she talks about as
Yeah.
well. So what I'll do is, I'll mention her details and in the show notes as well. Now, you forgot to mention the third founder, which is mentioned on your website called as Meow.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Malcolm. All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know, man. Shame on me, man. Man, what the heck? Yeah, actually, yeah. It's actually it's a two human and two cat team. So I have two Mia Alchemists. I have Seema. She's 11 year old. I think Devon Rex cat, and I have Satoshi. He just completed
oh,
1 year. So yeah, so they're our alchemists. So I guess in some of our alchemy alignment sessions or workshops, we will do it on Zoom. So once in a while, you'll see their appearance, in the behind the scenes. Either they're sleeping on the sofa or they'll just stare at the camera. So they make our life interesting.
that is absolutely brilliant. And I'm not sure, Marcos, if you've seen Hub 71, which is in Abu Dhabi. They're kind of offering something similar to what you're offering, but what they have done is they have converted that work into an NFT. So could it be possible that, the Story Alchemist, not now, maybe in the next coming years, you guys release an NFT and whoever is the NFT holder gets access to some of the services that you offer? What are your thoughts on
Oh
that? Is
wow.
it
Oh no, I haven't really thought about about that. I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing about. I mean, I know about Hub 71, but I don't know about
yeah,
them creating their own NFTs. Haven't Yeah, I haven't really thought about the NFT thing. That's interesting though. I think for me and Lisa, I think we have been so. I think we just love and we want to focus on. I guess the human aspect
yeah,
of blockchain and especially like a lot of these founders, because for us, time and time again, I think one of the main issues with our space is how to communicate that value to the marketplace or to regulators. Like
yeah.
there's so much of misunderstanding. A lot of these guys are so scared about crypto or Web3, like, or even businesses too. Like they can't make heads or tails about the DeFi space. So I think for us, I guess I'm more focused on, hey, how to solve this big communication issue. So
Yeah.
that has been so. I mean, the NFT. I think the NFT thing is kind of cool, but I don't know, that's something I'll think about. Um,
And it's
yeah.
great that you're mentioning about the human element, because I remember when Dubai had the Dubai Metaverse Assembly, and at the keynote, His Excellency, what he did actually start by saying is that so far as technology is evolving, it's so critical that we always have the human element. So I'm really liking the fact that when you're mentioning your services, you're focusing more on the human element. So keeping all those things in
Yeah.
mind, Marcos, what is the short-term and long-term goals that you have for the Story Alchemist? And are there any plans for possibly expansion in the next few years, maybe Saudi Arabia, Mexico, or Singapore?
I no, the great question. In terms of what are the plans for the Story Alchemist? I think we want to just focus on. I think we have a clear goal to support startup founders,
Hmm.
and it's not necessarily going to be about the tech space, but I think maybe also other industries as well. And I think I know for Lisa, because I can speak for her, because like she definitely wants to help a lot of women in the space. But what I think what is interesting is she doesn't really care about, I guess, the traditional, the women empowerment stuff, because a lot of it, we see it as more like an egotistical game. But uh, I think what she's really focus on the granular level is not only just for women but also for us
Yeah,
to have a strong voice. You know, not to just simply you know go to a 9 to 5 job and do the 40-year thing and stuff. I think you could do it now. You could not put all these restrictions, these self restrictions. So that I think that is something I know for her. She would want to use the Story Alchemist as a way to you know empower people to use their voice. Uh,
yeah,
that can not only bring cash clients, but also bring more freedom into their life too. So that I think I know. I think for us, even though we are trying to help focus in the tech space, I think we are thinking more in a more um, conscious level kind of thing. I know it sounds kind of
yeah.
a little bit woo woo, but but it is something we both are actually really passionate about. So um, and we do love the tech. Especially for me, I do love the tech stuff too. But you know, we want to use this technology and the
Correct.
right spirit to make a great social impact. Not for the like the branding and all that stuff, but for ourselves too. Because in the day, like okay, I'm trying to stack Bitcoin, Monero, and all that stuff, but you know. If there's no happiness or like a purpose, it's kind of like meaningless.
Correct.
So with the Story Alchemist, you know, I guess we want to expand outside the Web3 space. Definitely, I think you will definitely see us maybe in Saudi Arabia too.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if things align, because there is a great thirst and great drive for entrepreneurship and the startup culture. So, and I know a lot of these guys, they need help in terms of communicating their value. So definitely Mina will have a strong place in the next couple of years. So we'll see how that goes. So in terms of other expansion plans, now I think Mina would be it. I would like to see how Mexico can work out. We'll see.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing is, if you're working in the Web3 space, it's global. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But definitely the long term goal, Mina for sure has incredible potential, really.
That's
So
great, and it's great that you're also keeping the whole corporate social responsibility at the back of your mind when you're moving ahead with your business endeavors. And what I really liked is, you just mentioned again, going back to having the human element. I think that is absolutely, absolutely critical. Now, one thing which you didn't mention, Marcus, earlier is about the narratives that has changed in the Bitcoin and blockchain space. Now, I personally have noticed several changes, particularly in the narrative. Like, in early 2013, it was Bitcoin, not blockchain. Then there was this era of blockchain, not Bitcoin, followed by the whole ICO era, DeFi, NFT. Now, last year,
uh,
there was massive hype about metaverse. And right now, we are in the world of artificial intelligence. So,
man,
from a crypto evangelist point of view, how does it feel, to see the shifting narrative? And what is one narrative you think, startups and builders should focus on?
yeah. Oh man. No, no, first of all, John, thank you for also going to this memory lane and all these different trends and stuff. It's funny, I remember, was it what, 2016 or 2017? I did miss the ICO days. It was so much fun, but at the same time too, God, golly, uh, I know a lot of people have lost a lot, so um, I don't know. And that's a side note. It's just I'm just kind of like reminiscing it, but it's interesting to see the trends, when it comes to metaverse and AI. I know. I guess for me, you know, I'm still like, gung ho about, privacy.
Yeah.
For so many reasons, but I think I guess I guess my point of view, or how I see in the long term, is I just feel that in terms of privacy, that's going to be like the last frontier of the crypto space. But in terms of what's going to be the next narrative or the next trend, I mean, I was expecting SocialFi, but
Yep.
now, when I started interview quite a lot of people, and you know me, I interview a lot of people, I talk to a lot of people, so uh, the most repeated word is digital identity or sovereign identity. I mean, there's a conversation about, like, stable coins and stuff, which is happening, I guess, on
Yep.
a regulatory level, which is important because because I know USDC, they're trying to convince the Federal Reserve
Yep.
uh, uh, to have them identified as a payment stablecoin. So that's a more regulatory thing. But in terms of on a macro level, social, cultural narrative, consensus, you name it, I I think strongly I'm leaning toward digital identity. I think that is going to be this new trend. It's similar to how we experience the metaverse and artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's the way I feel. I mean, digital identity is going to be important, but I know a lot of people will eventually will play the DID game and pump it, pump and dump it. So
Yeah.
so I'm
I
expecting that to happen.
I agree, and even Jack Dorsey, the former CEO, I like to call it the former censorship king. He also mentioned about digital identity, and even Hypersign, who's an integral part of Crypto with Coffee. They are also focusing on something similar, right, on digital identity.
Yeah, yeah. See, with Vikram's project, the Hypersign. I mean, he's I'll give him the credit for you know seeing the need for digital identity like many years ago, even before Jack Dorsey brought up the
Yeah.
Web 5.0, that document or whatever. So way before that. So I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I remember, like, Dr. Anish, he didn't. I guess I could be wrong. I might have misunderstood, but I'm pretty sure he didn't think digital identity will be a big deal or something, or what Vikram is working on. But I think Vikram, he is onto something now. I think the challenge that him and maybe other
Yeah.
DID projects, they will have to compete against the Polygon ID project, which is humongous. And okay, what is the marketing play? What's the business model play? It's still up in the air. So unless a big company buys a DID project and makes it a public good, you
Yeah.
know how do you? I mean, so that part. Look, I don't know. I don't think anyone else will know, but we'll see how that plays. But definitely, I can see digital identity is going to be a big deal, especially when it comes to metaverse or SocialFi. I mean, it has to happen. It, uh,
100%. As a matter of fact, Marcos, I tend to do a podcast every day. And just in today's podcast, one of the news that I mentioned was about Deloitte. And they are actually working on digital identity. They came last year.
Oh man. Okay. If
Yeah.
they came up with a report, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Like,
Yeah.
I think some of them might be too. Some of us might be too late. I don't
No,
know.
in fact, they didn't publish a report. They're actually working on it and it's already launched. So, it's absolutely massive. So I kind of
Oh
100%
wow.
agree to what you're saying. Digital
Okay. All
identity.
right. All right. Okay. No. Okay. 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 Now I feel confident in myself, because a lot of times I was doubt myself. I'm like, So that's how I ask a lot of people. No, but thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And one thing, which we did talk about earlier on as well, regarding, the bearish and now bullish markets that we are in right now. So, from a crypto evangelist point of view, Marcus, what is the message you would like to spread across to the cryptocurrency industry, keeping in mind that, right now we are in a bearish market at the moment?
Okay, if you're in the bearish, I guess a bearish market, I think this is a really interesting time to. I know the cliche is saying this is a good time to build and stuff, which is great. I know. I think for me, um, I'm not that really concerned about the bulls and bears, that kind of stuff. Uh, I guess from an investment side of things, hey, this is a great time to like invest and stuff. But I think this time, I guess in the bearish season, I think this is a great chance for all of us to be able to reflect on how the future of the industry is going to be. And I guess for me, I just hope that people are listening in, or the people in our industry, uh, could take a serious look into privacy, or
Yeah.
financial privacy. The reason I state that is I have my concerns with you know especially with some of the CBDCs,
Yeah.
or or especially the European unions. Their definition of programmable money. They say it's not programmable money, but they have a
Yeah.
very very weird definition. So, um, but I also would encourage people to uh, you know look into building a counter economy, or I would say like an on-chain economy, because the future counter economy will be based on the blockchain. And I think having like these decentralized markets could actually add a lot of value. I think that's something I would I would love for folks to like look into it. So and I mean, if you're talking about the values of decentralization and stuff and autonomy, I think we all should kind of look into it. So yeah, I think I guess that's my message for those in the bearish market. Um, so I hope this will be a great time to reflect and use this as an opportunity to build markets, which like these kind of decentralized markets, which I know will have incredible value in the future. So yeah.
Absolutely brilliant and sound advice. And Marcus, we know that you were born in Dubai. You went to US and you've come back. Now, as we know, Marcus, Dubai is getting a lot of attention, especially in the last few years, particularly in the world of blockchain, cryptocurrency, and metaverse space. Now, you've had experience, you also do interviews with other countries. How does Dubai compare to other parts of the world?
Nothing. I think in terms of the the branding, the marketing of Dubai. I mean, it's pretty incredible. I think there's a lot of like a lot of crypto blockchain activity that's coming over here, but also in terms of moving capital, like regardless of what industry and stuff. Dubai has been attracting a lot of capital from all over the world. I mean, not necessarily Russia or Ukraine, but also coming from India, the United States. I think there's this movement of money from the west to the east. They say like
Yeah,
Dubai, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur also might be interesting too in terms of if you're talking about citizenship, residences, and all that stuff. So in terms of the crypto and blockchain space, Dubai has been a hot spot. Also with the competition come from Abu Dhabi, and also yeah, even Saudi Arabia too. I think they're spending a lot of money on
yeah,
sustainability and metaverse. So I think Dubai uh, is going to be a really interesting place for a lot of people to build their base over here. I think a lot of folks would be coming to Dubai for business, But I think I believe the narrative will change where it's not simply about because of crypto and blockchain. It's because they can have a better lifestyle over here, more than anything else. I think that's going to drive Dubai to a whole nother level.
Absolutely.
That's my belief. I really believe it. So
I 100% agree to it, especially if you look at the Dubai government. They're very supportive and appreciative of the fact with newer technologies. And one of the visions, as you know, Marcos, of Sheikh Hamdan is for Dubai to be the number one city in the world so far as Web 3.0 is concerned, and in the top 10 city
yeah,
in the world so far as metaverse is concerned. And I very strongly feel, what you are doing and what people like you are doing is definitely helping, achieve the vision of Sheikh Hamdan. So definitely thank you once again for doing that. And I'm really glad you mentioned about Saudi Arabia because lately they
yeah,
are in the news as well, particularly in the whole Web3 metaverse space as well. But if you look at things, Marcus, at a macro level, the inflation is going through the roof. The geopolitical situation between Russia, Ukraine, and pretty much over the
yeah.
next coming months or years, we will be having China and Taiwan. So, what kind of role do you think cryptocurrency and blockchain would have probably in the next 3 to 5 years from now, or in the longer decade from now?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I mean, aside from all these new CBDCs that's coming in terms of how to overcome all these market disruptions that are happening in the West, a lot of also in the East and stuff. And I can see a lot of people would look into Bitcoin or Ethereum. I mean, just because it's easy and it's recognizable.
Yep.
So uh, I could see capital obviously flowing into crypto. But I think what I'm more I don't know. I guess I'm more excited about. I guess maybe for me, if it's like in like an authoritarian regimes and stuff in many parts of the world, yeah, I can see like privacy coins, uh, getting a lot of attention, good, bad, and ugly,
Yep.
especially with I guess with regards to Monero and maybe Zcash. But I'm also seeing other privacy coins, rising up too. So I can see them, um, you know, garner a lot of attention. But I guess in this decade, I think, and I feel that stable coins will play an important role because for the majority of the population, see, they won't know about
Yep.
they won't have the time to learn about privacy coins or but I guess stable coins is a much more easier medium for people to understand.
Yep.
So I don't know. I could see some stable coin wars taking place actually.
Absolutely,
That's my
100%
thing.
Marcus.
So the only question, I don't know whether it's going to be a good thing for me or a bad thing for us. I don't know. Like it's but it is bound to happen. So yeah, especially in this decade, yeah, I think stable coins, that on ramp and off ramp kind of thing, unless there is uh, a big social change taking place
Yep.
where um, where maybe we can use Africa, the continent, for example, or even South America, where a lot of people start actually conducting their business in
Yep.
cryptos directly to
Yep.
create their own counter economies. If that happens, and if that trend catches to say like like India or Southeast Asia, then okay.
Yep.
I think a lot of I think myself included and many other people too. Like we keep forgetting about the changing of the social consensus.
Yep.
Everyone's talking about the tech stuff, but the social narrative, if that changes, like people decide, hey, you know what? I'm tired of paying in dirty dollars or British
Yep.
pounds and stuff. I'm not going to play this. stable coin or CBDC game. You know what? Let's create our own markets. And maybe I have way more faith in humanity. Who knows? But
No, I think some of the things that you touch base on is so critical, and our listeners should definitely do further research because you mentioned about CBDCs. It's so critical that we understand the difference between CBDC, and the counterproductive thing to that is Monero. So as long as the users understand the key difference between, let's say, CBDCs and
yeah,
kind of a threat it does actually pose, to our personal freedoms, and considering the fact, you mentioned about social changes. I think right now
yeah.
US politics is in a very critical stage. So, I wouldn't be surprised.
uh, yeah, I know. At least like once in a week,
Yeah.
me and Lisa will always have this sort of a similar conversation that because people do ask us, would you guys go back to the U.S.? I think for both of us, we won't. It's more like a strong no, unless if you're gonna meet her dad or
Yeah.
maybe one or maybe because I know Lisa, like for Lisa, she might want to go to New York. She's converting to Judaism, so she has to go to a synagogue over there or something like that. But I don't know. There's a it's interesting, like there's been a lot of
Yeah.
changes socially in the United States, even also Western Europe too. So I'm a little concerned about some of the ideals maybe coming to the Middle East or
Yeah.
maybe going to India and stuff. So I think maybe we shouldn't be surprised. There's going to be some generational clashes or shifts between, say, the millennials or Gen Zs or the Gen Xers. So um, I think I'm more curious about that
Y-
actually.
You're 100% right. And I hate to say this, Marcus, one of my friend, his daughter, who's 21 years old, she got offered a job in US. And the very first thing she said is, why should I go there? And when we were growing up in the 80s and 90s, one of our
Oh
dreams was to
yeah,
go to US. So that change is definitely happening right now. And she was almost on the
yeah,
verge of tears because her dad is our age. And he was like, no, you can go to US now. She was like, no, I want to be in UAE. So, that change
yeah,
is
yeah.
unfortunately happening. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I remember as a kid, how much I wanted to go to the United States. Like uh, I know it's so different, but um, living in the U.S. for 10 years, I loved it. I'm glad I went to the United States. If I didn't go to the United States, I wouldn't have learned about the creation of money or even Bitcoin and stuff. But also, I guess having you know, developing my own identity in terms of learning about libertarianism or Austrian economics or the free markets, and I wouldn't learn that, but I'm also a little sad that you know I guess I can say my previous home has changed for the worse, and it's crazy, but it's crazy that think about the United States. In many ways, I do miss some of my friends and some of my friends over there. Many of them are fighting the good fight over there and stuff. They're doing their own thing, um, but still, I don't know. But I also have changed quite a bit. Where I never expected Dubai to be this crypto blockchain capital for the world. I so man, things can change so fast. I mean, in a couple of years, like wow, that's insane. That's insane, man.
Absolutely brilliant. And a few final words, Marcus. Let's say if you have to give any advice to the general device, cryptocurrency, blockchain, and Web3 ecosystem, what is the advice that you'd like to give?
All right, okay. I guess. My advice, like I guess to the crypto community, including even coffee and crypto. Uh, I guess my advice is to you know pursue a path where we could get people to buy coffee or crypto. As much as I love, the reason I bring that up is, I guess my dream is, a lot of people say, Dubai is like the crypto capital of the world. A lot of companies are coming over here, but uh, for it to truly be the crypto capital of the world, the Web3 capital of the world, I think you and me, George, we need to go to a local coffee shop and be able to buy our coffee with crypto. I think I want to bring the future to our now. So I want to encourage the crypto community, even the coffee and crypto. Hey, you know what, guys, let's create some ways to encourage people to use a crypto as a currency, as a cryptocurrency, literally,
Yep.
right? Um, so yeah, hey,
Yep.
let's build this on-chain economy that will bring more prosperity, that's going to bring more freedom, and also raise the human capital of the people here in Dubai. So let's be part of that. So we don't have to have one or two leaders. Hey, let's decentralize it. I'm willing to partake in it, and buy coffee with crypto, tip people with crypto. So that'd be my advice for the community.
Absolutely brilliantly said. And in fact, one of my dreams is to actually set up a coffee shop. And I do have works going on beyond that where you actually just use cryptocurrencies. And the name of that is
Yeah.
Crypto and Coffee at 8. So let's see. Hopefully, that thing definitely works out. Now, we've done with most of the crypto and coffee related questions. I have three fun bit questions, Marcus, which is
All right.
one of them is kind of related to coffee, or crypto rather. So the first
Okay.
question is, what music genre do you have and any recommendations for listeners?
Genre. I think at the or to recommend. I think it's a tough recommendation, because because I know most of the people here tend to be more like maybe like pop, hip hop, or like
Yep.
Bollywood music or something. But for me, I've been more into, I guess, like punk rock actually.
Oh, excellent,
Yeah,
excellent choice.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So just to give a reference, there's two artists I like. Eric July from Random Words. Sorry, Backwoods, and this other girl named Lauren Babic, I know, Babic. So but she's into heavy metal and stuff, and she can, like,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, she can really roar and stuff. I mean, it's crazy. So actually, I do like it. How they do some remixes, but in a heavy metal punk rock
Yeah, yeah.
um, cover. I actually love it. I actually do. So, and the
And
reason why I like, why I like Eric July is he's a black heavy metal singer and rapper. So, and also he's also like a libertarian too, and he has his own channel. Um, he's also into Austrian economics, so it's really interesting. So yeah, that is what kind of, like, got me into punk rock, and now realize actually there's some pretty cool talent out there. So it's good to get out of the mainstream and
yep.
pave my own path. So I love it.
And punk rock music rather is the perfect definition of going against the system, or going against the state.
Yeah,
So absolutely brilliant.
yeah,
And
yeah. No thought of that. That's good. Okay,
the,
yeah, I missed that point. Wow, that's funny.
yeah.
Nice.
The second fun bit of question is, if you were to launch your own coin, what would you name
Mm.
it?
Own coin. Oh man. All right. Okay. Okay. If I have to launch my own coin, hmm, that's a
Now I know the ticker symbol, but you can't use the ticker symbol of a cat because you're definitely passionate about that.
no, no. Actually, the funny one, the one that immediately comes to my mind is uh, Trust Coin.
Trust coin.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, the reason is that is in homage to Bitcoin, because
Yep.
to me, Bitcoin is based on the blockchain, is a public ledger, and I think to me it's like a truth telling machine in a sense. Hey, if you remember the history of how Bitcoin came in, like the financial crash and all that stuff, nobody knew that the Lehman Brothers, they didn't have any money for like 6 months and stuff. So
Yep.
to me, it's like, hey, we need truth. We need truth that speaks to power. And I know I sound like Malcolm X, but I'm not. But but I think to me, trust coin is something like I want people to trust their money, that it'll hold value, and it has purchasing power. So for me, I think if I have to name a coin, I think trust coin is something um, I would like to name. But I'm pretty sure somewhere in CoinGecko that name is already taken. But hey,
Yeah. I like the reasoning behind that name. It's a very genuine
yeah,
reason as well. And one final question is, if you were to have your coffee brand, what would that be? Because I'm addicted to coffee. There's one
coffee
thing which I
brand.
absolutely cannot give
Oh,
up on is coffee.
coffee brand. Oh man, yeah, yeah, coffee brand. Let me see. Oh,
You
that's a
can't
good
keep it
question.
as trust coffee again now.
I no 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 no.
How about the Story
uh,
Alchemist coffee? That sounds like a
no. I know something. I know something. I don't know. Maybe like something. Maybe like crypto coffee or something. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry. I think the best I got is crypto coffee.
that sounds
I
like a very
guess. Yeah, I know it's kind of boring, but I guess I guess my reasoning would be uh, to sell this specific coffee, crypto coffee, for crypto. So, you know, just
absolutely.
I don't know. Man, I wish I knew this question before. I would have come up with something cool. But man,
No, I definitely am addicted to both the things. So far as coffee is concerned, it's an absolute must. And so far as crypto is
yeah,
concerned, we definitely are addicted to it. So, Marcus, thank you so much for doing this. Really, really
yeah,
appreciate, you taking the time and doing this. Really appreciate
it,
it. And what I'll do is, Marcus, all of your details, all of the details of Crypto with Coffee, Cryptocosm,
yeah,
XT Exchange, the YouTube channel that you have, and even the Story Alchemist and your wife's LinkedIn profile, all of these things, I'll mention that in the show notes below. I
sure,
think our
sure,
listeners will
yeah.
definitely benefit by it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but no. First of all, hey, I'm so glad that we got to do this episode together, and I really appreciate the time you're taking to learn about my origin story in the crypto. So at least uh, because I would love that story to be out there. Because I know like a lot of people are curious how I got in the crypto space. So at least because I know a lot of people are surprised about my that I had some crazy libertarian friends who are into Bitcoin and stuff. But I guess also it's also a reminder for me, you know, I should have placed more faith, you
Yep.
know, um, and I shouldn't have disregarded it. But I'd also the same too. I think the life change I made would also be a testament for people that hey, you know what, there's a space for crypto is open to everyone, so you're not missing out or anything
Yep.
like that. So yeah, so
And what I
um,
liked is, or shocking thing rather, was your experience in track and field. I had absolutely no idea. I thought, you might have gone to US maybe for some technology related field or something to do
Oh
with.
no! The thing is that I just wanted to run track and field. I didn't go for like studies or anything like that, but it did help with my studies and stuff. Um, but I'm grateful that I got I took the leap of faith to get out of one desert in Dubai to another desert in West Texas of all places, and I never thought I would like West Texas actually.
And are there
Strange, but
plans? Are there plans for you to get back into track and field now? Or
oh no, man, I've been a bum though, but I am trying to. I'm trying my best to get back into shape because man, I've been like sitting a lot, just doing a lot of crypto stuff. But I'm trying. The definitely, I'm trying my best to do more swimming, more basketball. But track and field, it's like eons ago, man. So uh, but I had like muscle tears and injuries and stuff, so I'm not. Uh, it would be hard for me to get back into that athletic performance or whatever. But I think it's about time I need to also focus on, you know, my health as well, and be in
Yes,
shape and live long enough so that once I become a Bitcoin millionaire or something, hey, sure, enjoy it. So why not?
100%. Yes. Well, thank you so very much, Marcus. Really, really appreciate you
Thank
doing this,
you.
man.